Oh yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's the same dress she was wearing in that last video. Well, yeah, sorry, guilty. That's because I make them back to back. I want to tell you a creation myth, and then I'm going to give you a written assignment that you can check out in lessons to read creation myths from Byerland. But just like Persephone being one of my favorites, I also have another favorite, and that is Eurynome. And so I'm going to tell you the Pelasgian tale of creation, wherein a goddess creates the universe. And if you imagine the scene, all is dark. And as most creation myths begin, there is a void, an abyss. In this case, and in Greek myths, it is chaos, spelled with a capital C. And out of this void, out of chaos, rises the Magna Mater, the great mother goddess of the Pelasgians, Eurynome. And when she arises from the void, she is cold, and so she begins to dance. And not only does she dance because she is cold, but there's nothing firm on which to place her feet, and so she dances and she whirls to stay in motion and to keep herself afloat. And as she twirls, the winds come into existence from the movement of her body. And she catches the north wind and she rubs it between her hands, perhaps to warm them, and perhaps she knows what she's doing because she creates from the north wind the great serpent Ophion. And she dances with Ophion. And they couple. She becomes lustful and he becomes lustful. And they couple. And the north wind impregnates Eurynome and she gives birth. But she doesn't give birth to a child. She gives birth to the universal egg. And Ophion wraps himself around the egg 7 times to incubate it. And when it hatches, all of the universe comes out. The planets, the stars, and Eurynome's children, the Titans. And so there is order coming from chaos. But order always threatens to slide back down into chaos, and sometimes it does. Creation comes from destruction. So after the universe is created, Ophion and Eurynome settle down to happily wedded bliss, but there is a problem. Ophion becomes vain, and he begins to boast that he created the universe alone, that he was responsible for the creation. And needless to say, this ticks your enemy off a bit because she was the first one to come out of chaos. And she did create Ophion, and she did lay the world egg. And so she becomes very angry, and she bruises Ophion's head with her heel, and she sends him down into the underworld, and he becomes Ophion, the great serpent of the deep. Now, this creation myth is a very early one, and it is not remarkable, but it is to be noted because in this creation myth, the creatrix, which is the female version of creator, there's a creatrix instead of a creator, and it is a woman. And there are some archetypal images within this that you will find in many other creation myths. You have the abyss and the void. You have the first being arising from the void. And then you have that being creating the rest of the universe. You have the archetypal image of the snake, in this case, Ophion. And then you have, you know, pride or hubris. And hubris is overwhelming pride, entering the world and then a punishment. There are other archetypal images that you will find in many other creation myths, including a world tree. Oh, by the way, the universal egg is another archetypal image. But I like this myth because it is a precursor of the Greek myths that we will read and just has many of those archetypal beginnings. There are older ones. The ones from Sumeria and the one from Egypt are both older than Eurynome. You will also find variations of these myths, and that's fine. There's more than one tale of the Egyptian creation myth. And the ancients didn't have a problem with that. We have a problem with that because we're very much linear thinkers. But they just passed it off. Oh, that's what those people over there think. These myths change in order to fit societal preferences and societal needs. Now, go and read some more creation myths.